these are the outcomes of my December survey. Welcome to everyone watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. Today I'm going to be sharing the outcomes of the little survey slash giveaway that I did with you guys in December. And I thought that could be a fun video to actually show you. Now I can't show you like the visuals or the outcomes of the actual survey because a lot of you filled it out. There were over 100 replies, which is sort of like what I was aiming for. Like I was like, if I have 100 replies, compared to like my subscriber number, that's like a good enough number to have like a representation of what I should be doing. Because in 2025, I just started to feel like I wanted to change things up and I had ideas and I wanted to put some ideas by you, but also just wanted to use you, my subscribers, as sort of like a like brainstorm session, you could say, to know like what content do I want to do. And there are going to be some changes that I'm going to make to the channel in the next couple of weeks. You will have already seen, I think, my new leader and my new outro that I've been using. I've also been using like a different style for creating some thumbnails because those were things I just really wanted to do. But I'm going to take you through all of the questions that were on the questionnaire. There were 10, I think, 9 questions in total. And I sort of made a little summary for myself of what the results were. I can't share the results because of how many like comments there were. It just looks really messy if you look at the raw data. So I'm just going to talk you through and we're going to have a bit of fun. So first of all, of course, I wanted to ask you and sort of pick your brain about what you also felt worked on my channel and what didn't work on my channel. And a lot of the things you guys are saying overlaps with what I was feeling myself as well. And I was just really, really happy to see how many people were very positive about what I do. Like, oh, I don't need you to change anything. I love everything you do. And it really warms my heart to see those comments as well. So in all, when I was asking questions about what I should stop doing or what I shouldn't do, the responses on those questions were much more spread out than like the things you truly loved. So you can be sure that the things you love are also the things I enjoy doing, but sometimes those are just videos I can't do as often. So that was also my first question. What are your favorite like videos on my channel? What came out on top with 72% of all the votes was the palette review videos I do. I do those every month. I have a couple of new palettes coming in every single month, and then I review for them. And then I review them for you, including all the swatches and the close-ups. That is easily one of my most favorite videos to film as well, and it's good to see that that's also what you're getting out of this channel. So I'm really happy with that. A lot of you wanted more, like really enjoy my cool tone makeup stuff, so that's 57% of you guys, and that's also something I'm gonna keep doing. I was already doing it I think for about 2 or 3 years now. I've been really focusing on like cool tone and like lighter skin tone makeup as like part of my review cycle, and a lot of you are loving that as well, so I'm really happy to see that. My palette collection is a video that a lot of you enjoy. I only do that once a year, twice if you count my declutter, but I tend to show you when I do my palette collection video, I also show you what's in my makeup memory box, and that one doesn't come out really any other time of year. So I do a video once a year with just the makeup memory box, but then for my palette collection, I take all the palettes out that are also no longer in my active makeup collection, and I show you those as well. So that way there's a little bit more to my palette collection than what you get from the declutter, because those are no longer included then. A lot of you are still enjoying the Essence and Catrice videos I do, so 52% of you, and a lot of people enjoy drugstore makeup content, so that's 48%. I always do a mix of brands on here. I do some indie makeup, of course, with a lot of the palettes. I do some K-beauty stuff from time to time because I find that to me, but I'll do a separate video on this in the future. K-beauty is just as expensive or cheaper than buying drugstore brands. So that's why I sometimes prefer K-beauty, because those shades often go better with my skin tone as well. But I do still enjoy drugstore makeup, and if I can get my hands on things, I do still review them from time to time. The only problem is that we are very behind on releases here in the Netherlands. That new Cloudtopia blush from Maybelline, nowhere to be found yet. I've managed to find it on Look Fantastic, I think, but there most of the shades were already out of stock, so But that's the only website I have found that ships to my location that even sells that product. So very often with a lot of the Maybelline and L'Oreal stuff, NYX as well, they announce things that things are going to be new, it's going to be out now, it's going to be out in Europe, and then here in the Netherlands I can't find it. So that's the only reason why you don't really, there's a few reasons why I don't show more drugstore makeup or why I don't focus on brands like that. I'm going to do a separate video about that as well. But yeah, Essence and Catrice is my main focus, mainly because I can get it very easily. Till this day, those are the only two brands. That and I think Kiko. Those are like the only three. That's why they are regular features on my channel. It's not because I don't want to review other things. It's because that's what I can get. Oh. Then I asked a question like, what monthly series that I do would you like me to continue doing? A lot of you again said palette review videos. Buy This Not That came out really high with 62%. Cool Tone Makeup again with 57%. My Shop My Stashes is something you really enjoy, and that makes me really happy because I've been doing Shop My Stash content since before I started doing regular videos here on the channel. I started doing it on my blog first, and then since 2017, I found out I have been doing Shop My Stash content in some way, shape, or form. So it's been a regular feature in all of my online content, and it's a great way for me to like give you some quick thoughts on things I was using, select some new things, rotate through my makeup collection. So if you want to get a really good sense of what this channel is about and what makeup I'm using and whether I'm using anything up or if I'm project panning anything, my Shop My Stash video is where you need to go. And then a lot of you, this came out equal. My monthly hauls and my new makeup releases are 55% of the votes as well, and those came out on top as things I need to keep doing. So those are not going anywhere. I had not expected those to need to go anywhere because view count wise, those are also doing pretty well. Which monthly series would you like me to stop doing? And here I was a little bit surprised, but you'll see that a lot of the like percentages of the people who voted for these things are much lower than the things that you want me to keep doing. But actually, like I'll have a question later on that were like more open-ended questions. And one of the things that stood out to me is that there are quite a few of you who are saying like, hey, I want more content with like going back to old favorites or like doing things with like older things or getting more use out of your makeup because I don't want to buy too many new things. We're in the midst of a cost of living crisis. But then the things that people tell me I should stop doing are two of the videos where I do exactly that. Because I have been doing videos for quite some time now where I go back to where my makeup collection used to be, and I call them declutter regrets, and I sort of go through some of my old declutters and we can reminisce about like older products that used to be in my makeup collection and do I miss them in my collection, yes or no? And that's a video that quite a few of you have said, please stop doing them, 42%. That is a video that I'm gonna stop doing. Not for that reason, it was already on my radar as something I wanted to replace with something else, but I wasn't quite sure what else I wanted to do then. Palettes I used again. 15% of you told me to no longer do that video, but that's exactly what I'm doing to try and get more use out of my eyeshadow palettes. Do you see that some of the things you're telling me in like what you can tick on a tick box gives me a different result than what some people are saying in their comments? I'm like, that's interesting. But like I said, the percentages here are much, much lower down compared to what people say I need to keep. So there is a bit of a skew there. Some of you want me to shop my stashes and my tea time chats with 12%. Full face makeup looks, even though some people have also been saying like, I want you to show more application and stuff. And I'm like, I already do that like once a month. Again, 11%. And palette rankings with 10%. So there you go. Which themed week or month is your favorite? So what I've been doing, this is something that I saw another creator do for some time, and I was sometimes struggling in the past to like fill out my entire like monthly schedule of videos that I need to do. So I came up with the idea of doing like a monthly series where 1 week of the month is going to be dedicated to one topic, be it drugstore, be it whatever. And I felt like that was a thing that was no longer working because some of the topics were doing a lot better than other things. So I have an idea for that, which I'll share with you in a second. But I first asked what theme, month, or week is your favorite? End of year favorites, 70% of you said were really something you were looking forward to. My eyeshadow palette week, 60% eyeshadow palette month, because in August I always do a dedicated month to eyeshadow palettes, and then every single video that I can do that's not like a shop my stash or like another video that I do regularly is then an eyeshadow palette related video, 57%. Top 3 in every category, a lot of you said you liked, 53%. And my makeup declutter with 51%. So these are all things that in some way, shape, or form are still going to be part of my my content for sure. So you can look forward to these things in the future. But for least favorite, a lot of people were saying luxury makeup week, which I can see from like just the view count. K-beauty week, that's not necessarily something that a lot of you also in the comments were saying, like in the open-ended question, like, I don't really like K-beauty all that much. But some people were also saying eyeshadow palette month and drugstore week. So that's again, compared to like people want to see more drugstore makeup, but then some people are also saying like, please don't. And makeup declutters as well. So that's 51% of you say, yes, please, makeup declutters, and then 12%, so far fewer people are saying makeup declutters as something I should stop doing. And then I had a couple of ideas of things that I could start doing. So I asked which of these video ideas should I start doing in 2026. Roundup reviews of products in one category. I sort of test cased it a little bit towards the end of the year. So 72% of you guys said that would be fun. So what I'm planning to do is, for instance, like I did all of my purple blush in one video and swatched them out and like talk about my favorites and why I like some things. So that is going to be definitely something I'm going to be bringing back with other color blushes and some other categories that I have already come up with. So that's definitely going to be a newer style video that I'm going to be doing in the new year. Comparisons of products is something that 69% of you likes to see. Dupes you would like to see, 59%. Roundup review of all products by one brand. 50% of you told me that you like that. And skincare and fragrance is only 20%. So I'm going to stick to skincare and favorites as like being like once in a while sort of things that I'm going to do, because I do still want to show my routine from time to time, or maybe talk about fragrance, because I do really love fragrance. But for instance, in 2025, I didn't buy a single fragrance. I was just using what I have. So I'm not like so much of a fragrance and skincare nerd. I just like using what works for me and sort of picking and choosing, but it's a slow progress, especially with skincare for me. That's why I don't really feel comfortable doing a lot of skincare content. Because I have such sensitive skin, I cannot share my thoughts with you on a product unless I've used it up. So very often I will put those sort of like mini reviews in my end of year empties, which I did on Thursday, if you saw that video. But I do review skincare from time to time. Over on the blog on Fridays is sort of like Skincare Friday. And if I do have a fragrance to review or a skincare product to review, it goes up on the blog then. So I think I'm just going to keep it there and then do videos whenever I like feel like I need to do something with it again. But yeah, those product reviews in one category, I'm definitely going to be doing. The comparisons and the dupes as well. The problem with dupes is that I need to have enough to talk about for a longer style video like this. And also the comparison of products. It doesn't work in long form content, but those are things that work really well in short form. And this has been my wish for like the past 2 years. When shorts first were introduced on YouTube, I did a couple to try and find my way, but it was way too much effort for one single video. But I've actually invested in a new tripod that hopefully can make life a little easier, so that when I'm like sitting down doing my makeup for filming videos, I can just like click my phone into my little holder, have a light ready to go, and like film me doing my makeup, so I can have more like shorts and stuff. So I have ideas a lot, but this has been the problem for me for the past 2 years. I've had loads of ideas for shorts. I just don't have the time to film and edit them. However, in December, I filmed my coloring journey for TikTok, and I was using the TikTok app a lot for editing the videos. And because I was able to do it on my phone and I didn't have to transfer everything first and then like edit it down using Premiere, it really sped things up. And I saw that the in YouTube editing app for shorts is very similar to the TikTok one. So I'm hoping I'm gonna have to still like do some setting up, because this is something I haven't been able to put into like work yet. But it is my wish to do more shorts with comparisons of products. So if you have any like questions about, hey, is this bronzer similar to this other bronzer you have? Or how similar are these 3 lipsticks? Of course, provided I have the products. I'm not going to be buying products just to compare it for you. That's not how I live my life. But if I have it in my collection and if I find a dupe, I'm first going to turn it into short form content is the plan. And then once I have enough, I can see if I can like group it all together and like talk you through it, and then use the shorts as like little B-roll to talk you through it, and then I can have the short to the side. I've done that in the past for a dupe video and it worked really well. So that's sort of the plan. So this is not content I can do weekly or monthly, because I need to come across them. I need to find them. So I keep a notebook with all of my content planning, and I always have like a list of dupes that I'm writing down, and I'm getting to the point where I have enough. I first need to film those shorts, and then I can show you that as B-roll. That's the plan. But I've been trying to do shorts for 2 years, people, and it's not working. So don't come for me if this is something that I now have decided I want to do, but it doesn't come through. It's been really tough. Like, besides me having I still work as a teacher, of course. Like, this is not my main gig. So I have very limited time available if I also want to live a life outside of YouTube. This is not my main gig. This is like 4th, maybe 5th on the list of things that I do in a day. Yeah? So don't come for me if certain things aren't working out. If there's things you're missing in my content, it's because I don't have time for it. It's not because I don't want to. Trust me, I know exactly what I could do to improve certain things, but some of it is so time consuming. I don't know how people do it. I really don't. What videos would you like to see on my channel was one of the open questions that I asked. And I got some really good input here. So most people were saying, nothing you aren't already doing. I love what you're doing. Keep doing what you are doing. So that's what most people were saying. But there were quite a few people who were saying, like, I like chit chats or like educational videos, more about my experience with buying, trying, and using makeup. So I've now come up with a couple of things, like other video ideas. So these are going to be running series that I'm going to like test out to see how they do. And some of those are already going to be happening this month in January. Some of them I'm going to have to roll out later throughout the year. I cannot do everything in one go. Like, long form content wise on this channel, there's like in a given month 16 to 18 videos that I can do. So I will not be able to squeeze everything in just yet, but I'm just going to test case a couple of things. And so I'm going to be stopping the monthly series that I was doing. So one topic a month. I'm going to try and sort of like split it up more and like talk about different things and like do a little bit of it every month, if that makes sense. Project Pan and wishlist content, as I said, this is already happening. I do it in my Shop My Stash, and if you watch my new makeup releases, then you know what's going on the wish list and what I'm bringing in and what I'm no longer doing and whatnot. So my wish list is never very long. I try to keep that very maintained. Currently, there's just like 2 foundations and a couple of Nomad palettes on it. I write them down on a list, and the way my wish list works is that I also take things off if I run out of, like if I forget it's on the wish list, I know I shouldn't buy it, right? But that's how the wish list works for me. I sometimes jot things down, and I sort of use my new makeup releases videos, like I'm talking about these things, right? But it doesn't mean I'm buying it all. What I tend to do when I do my new makeup releases is if I say in that video that something could be interesting to me, if I think about that product again 2, maybe 3 months down the line, and I'm in the opportunity to buy it, that's when I buy it. But if I forget about it right after filming that video, I know it's not going to be worth my time. That's sort of how it works for me. So my new makeup releases are essentially wishlist videos. So if you were looking for wishlist content, it's already happening. People were asking for more single shadows with either Cliona or like BYOP sort of content. Again, it doesn't work long form content wise. Nobody's watching that. Again, something I want to do as shorts, if I can. Again, if I can manage to start filming more shorts and editing it on my phone through the YouTube app, then starting the next couple of weeks, you will see some more shorts popping up rather than in this sort of style video. It just doesn't work. Nobody's clicking on those things. But if people come across it on a For You page, etc., then it does work because it does look very satisfying. People were also asking for more indie brands or like lesser known brands, European brands particularly. Some people from Germany, I think, were asking about Gender X Beauty. The problem with these like lesser known brands is that unless you live in that location, you're not looking for it. I did this a couple of years ago. I wanted to try some more drugstore foundations, and I found all of these drugstore brands I had never heard of before on Notino. I tried some Lumine from Finland. I tried Eveline Cosmetics from Notina from Poland. And I've tried a couple of other things, right? But nobody's looking for these things. And what I have also found, because I've been looking into these brands to see if I could try more, unless I go to that country, I can never see the full range. And what I have found with Notino very often is that they sell a lot of things that are discontinued or no longer part of a regular line. It's a lot of like discontinued makeup on there, I find. So even if I can get it through Notino, I know that stocks are very limited for that one given product. And a lot of these lesser or more European-based brands are very much country-focused. So even if I can find the website for them, they very often do not ship to my location. Gender X Beauty, for all the Germans out there, they only ship to Germany, Switzerland, and Austria. Not my country. And this goes for a lot of the brands that were mentioned by you. This is actually a next question. I would love to try all of those brands, but unless I'm traveling to that country and I can find it in store somewhere, it's probably going to be a no for me. I will still try indie brands from time to time. I'm still, as far as I know, MONOLITH will still be sending me some PR this year. So indie brand eyeshadow palettes are still going to be a thing for sure. But yeah, it really depends. So with certain brands, if I haven't mentioned it in a while, or maybe I have already mentioned it, maybe I've tried it and I didn't like it very much, or they can also be very expensive, or I simply don't have access. Like there's usually a reason why. If it was easy for me to get my hands on it, I would. People have been saying like application of products, pairing makeup and clothes, wear tests. Again, if I do like a lipstick review, I very often include the wear test for that lipstick. I always do that. But you can see all the makeup I put in a Shop My Stash in videos that I film like this. Because guess what? Everything that's on my face today was in a Shop My Stash. So it's all there. And like I said, this is why I'm like, quite a few people are asking for like, I want to see you apply the makeup. But then I do a full face makeup look and people are telling me to no longer do that. So what do you want? You know, this is why it confused me a little bit, the outcomes, because I've grouped them together as like, you know, multiple people have been saying this. So I'm like, okay, so you want that, but that's not really how it works. And pairing makeup and clothes, I just throw on whatever. I select my outfit the night before, I put it on my rail, put it on, and then I just do my makeup with whatever's in my Shop My Stash. The only thing that's sort of like subject to change that I don't decide on beforehand is my lip color. I kind of look at what the rest of my makeup is doing and then I select a lip color. That's the only thing. And then if I'm, for instance, wearing a navy blue top and I'm wearing like, I don't know, whatever, like a cool toned eye, I will probably go for like a purpley pink lipstick. That's why I'm wearing like this deep purple today, because there's a little bit of purple in the eyeshadow and I'm wearing a pretty neutral sweater. So I felt like if I went with a nude, it would sort of drain me. So I went with this punchy sort of color. That's the only thing I do, like any sort of selection that goes on in my brain when it comes to tying the entire look together is the lipstick. That's as far as it goes. But I never ever like, oh, I'm wearing a purple top today, let's wear purple eyeshadow. The 80s called, they want their color stories back. I feel like contrasts work far better. And I just wear whatever, really. I don't really care if it goes with the rest of my outfit. Multiple looks with one palette a week, combined with Shop My Stash, and dupes is something that people came up with as well. I always do multiple looks with one palette. If you follow my palette review videos, you know there are multiple looks with every single palette I review. And that's also one of the reasons why, like, one palette a week, I can't really do. Because I will not be able to test everything out. I need to test out in a given month. Plus the eyeshadow palettes I want to go back to, that I want to get some more use out of, I don't, like, no. It just doesn't work with how I live my life. And some of the ideas as well that people have had, like, show us you applying makeup. You need to understand that a lot of the pictures you see me insert, for instance, of the looks that I do with the eyeshadow palettes, I do those looks as I'm getting ready in the morning for work. And there are 3 things I've told myself when this channel started to, like, take off a little bit. I'm not going to be driven crazy by hype or, like, being pushed by what the algorithm wants. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to follow my own instincts, you could say. I'm not going to lose sleep over this channel. So if I cannot post for a couple of days because I'm ill, I cannot post for a couple of days if I'm ill. I'm also not willing to wake up an hour early just so I can film content for you guys. I could and lose sleep in the process, but no. If it doesn't slot neatly into what I'm already doing in my day-to-day, it's not going to happen. It's why the shorts have been so difficult for me, because I cannot carve out the time in my week to film and edit those things. It's not that I don't want to, but this is why, for instance, like, filming myself, like, putting a look, like, essentially, I'm like, yeah, maybe I could just, like, put my video, like, my camera on the tripod and, like, film myself as I'm getting ready for work. But you know how this goes. Like, just think of how you get ready for work in the morning. I forget things. I sit down at my makeup table and go, like, oh, I still need to put on my shoes. I get up, put on my shoes. I'm like, oh, I forgot to put on fragrance. So I go to my drawer and I put on fragrance. Like, this is not a neat process, okay? So, and I cannot for the life of me, and I don't want to do this to myself, where I go, like, okay, tomorrow I'm going to film content and I need to do this, and that. Doing my makeup in the morning for work is my safe space. It's my little moment of peace before I go into a very stressful day teaching. I cannot add a layer of stress of it, like making sure the camera angle is right, that everything is in focus, like, whenever I've done, like, real-time get-readies with me, those aren't even real-time, because it takes time to have all the product laid out in front of me, ready to go to film, to have the lighting setting right, to have the camera settings right. Where I normally, when I just get ready in my day-to-day life, it takes me 10 to 15 minutes to do a full face of makeup. But the minute I have to turn on a camera, that time doubles. It just doubles. I don't have time. And I value sleep. Yeah, I value sleep. Oh, and the third thing, by the way, that I told myself I wasn't going to do is to go into debt. I'm not going to spend money I don't have trying to buy all the new stuff. Again, I'm going to do a video about it really, really soon, how I sort of do it financially with this channel, because I definitely feel that that goes into what a lot of you, like, what I think a lot of people, like, this is all you get to see, right? You need to realize that, but that's a different video for another day. But yeah, this is something why I would love to do content like that, like put on my camera and, like, film the look that I'm doing, but half of it would be out of focus. And I would not be able to show you how I do the makeup. So that's why those things are just, no. Like, I do sometimes film clips of my outfits before I run out the door, but I'm always very careful. Like, the only outfits you see in those videos are on mornings where I didn't have to run out the door. And if I do have to run out the door, I very often will film the outfit at the end of the day when I get home from work. Which, with makeup, is a little bit more, like, you can't really do that, because after a full day of working, this no longer looks the same, you know? So there's that. So that's why with fashion, it's a little easier for me to do it. And I also don't, like, show you the process of me putting on the clothing either. I always find that very, like, how do you stay in frame? Like, I'm running all over the place when I'm like putting on clothes. I will put everything on the bed and I'm like in front of the mirror, and then I button my fly and I'm standing at somewhere else. Like, I don't know why, but for me, like, I like when I'm not thinking about staying within this little box, it doesn't, like, I'm like, when I'm doing my makeup, I'm essentially right like in my mirror. Like, you would only see the top of my head. Like and like to sit like this, no, I can't do that. Let me live my life as well. Like I say, I have a day job. This is not my main gig. This is not my main gig. Some people would like me to show like more vlog style, day in the life, shopping videos, how I shop for makeup and stuff. I do vlog mainly when I travel. That's when because I like watching those vlogs again later myself. So I'm so happy I vlogged my entire Japan trip this summer. Because it just takes me right back to where I was, right? The reason why I cannot show you how I shop for makeup is because A, I don't shop a lot in store for makeup. A lot of it happens online. I just go onto a website, click, add to cart, and then it arrives at my house. So that's very boring content on a video. And when I do go into stores here in the Netherlands, it's actually illegal to film yourself in stores without explicit permission from marketing team. So you have to like write letters and get permission. You're not allowed to film yourself in a store in the Netherlands without explicit permission. So that's never going to happen. And I don't do day in the life content because I teach, and I'm not going to film my students. I don't film the people in my life very deliberately because they have not chosen to be online. There are loads of people in my life. You just don't get to see them. You just don't get to see them. And also, like, most of the people I know in my life have said, like, I don't want to be in a video. Like, if I've met up with some of my subscribers in the past year, and, you know, I always say, like, hey, I'm vlogging this trip or I'm vlogging this experience, and like, oh, like, leave me out of it. And I'm going to respect their wishes. I'm not going to force people to be in my videos. And at work, I just don't, like, for privacy reasons, like here in Europe, privacy laws are pretty extensive, so I would not be able to show faces or anything like that. So I'm not gonna get into that at all. So that's why you're not getting that content. And then people are saying, we want more drugstore affordable makeup. I am going to be doing a video in the future. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen this month or next month, but I'm gonna do a video about why you think that drugstore is affordable does not apply to me. Because makeup in the Netherlands is really, really expensive. And I've taken some screenshots and I can show you that the exact same product in 3 different countries here in Europe retails for a completely different price points. And I think that if I show you that, you're gonna understand why I mainly focus on Essence and Catrice, because those are truly affordable, and even they have gotten a little bit more expensive over time. But also things like Kiko, why I value them so much, because a lot of the brands that you might think of as affordable compared to Kiko, to me, are as expensive or more expensive than what Kiko retails for instance. And that's also one of the reasons why I enjoy K-beauty so much, because to me, a lot of K-beauty falls within the drugstore price range, and they do much more interesting shade ranges for my skin tone than, for instance, a Rimmel, a Maybelline, a L'Oreal. I've tried it all. I've tried so much of those brands, and either it didn't work for me, B, we're not getting those products, as I already mentioned, and C, the things we are getting are twice as expensive, even if I just cross the border to Germany. So what you think is affordable makeup isn't affordable to me, which is why the focus on my channel is slightly differently. Then there was a next question. We're almost at the end. What brands should I review? A lot of you were saying you already have a really good variety of brands. Keep doing what you're doing. We're loving Essence, Catrice, and Kiko. So that made me very happy, because there will be more Essence, Catrice, and Kiko content in 2026 for sure. I actually managed to find the new Catrice stuff. So in the next 2 weeks or so, I should be able to do a first impression with the new Catrice stuff that's in. I always take pictures first so that I have a little bit of a database going on for reviews and stuff. And then I put everything on my face. And with the weather that we've been having, We had a true winter week here in the Netherlands, and it was loads of snow. Today it's also really dark and gloomy with loads of rain. And then I don't always have the right amount of lighting in a day to be taking loads of pictures. So fingers crossed I can make it happen before the end of this month. Some people were saying like European drugstore brands. Wycon was mentioned quite a few times. I would love to try more Wycon. I do, but I had to look at their shipping fees to the Netherlands because they have to then be shipped from Italy. And even though Kiko is shipped from Italy as well, their shipping is a lot higher than for Kiko. And I actually hope to be able to make it to Italy sometime this year. I'm not sure when. I don't have any solid plans. I'm still on the fence between Naples and Verona because those are two places I haven't been to. But I also want to go to Madrid. I may want to go to Scotland, and I definitely don't want to go to Italy during summer break. So the question is when and where. But yeah, Italy is on the cards for me to be visiting there again sometime. Either late 2026, I'm thinking, or early 2027. But not anytime soon. And unless I find them in a store, because they are a little bit higher priced for some of their products, I just know I want to see them in store. Their swatches on their website are not true to color for the colors that I have, for like the products I have tried. So that's why I'm a little like on the fence, like about buying things on their website. It's just difficult for me to tell whether something might work or not. Gender X Beauty, I already mentioned. Please, if you do have any requests for certain brands, check on those websites. Do they ship to the Netherlands? If they don't, you already know I can't try it. So Gender X Beauty, unless they start doing international shipping and it's not horribly expensive, I may never try it. But Gender X Beauty, like made by Mitchell, was mentioned by some people as well. If it's this Instagram baddie sort of vibe already on the website and in their Instagram like offerings, it's probably not going to work for me. I've tried some Made by Mitchell and I had to blend for days. It's far too pigmented for my liking. So, and with Gender X Beauty, I kind of feel the same way. It looks very similar. So, no. Luminée was mentioned as a brand, which I would love to try more Luminée. I think I found some Luminée when I was in Sweden, but they seem to be very complexion based and they don't have a huge range. So I've already tried one of their foundations that I really enjoyed, but it's just really difficult for me to find them. The only place I've been able to find them is Notino, and as I already mentioned, Notino usually has very limited stock. Sculpted by Amy, I believe this is an Irish brand. I saw them in Boots when I was in London, and I stood in front of the display and I was like, wow, this is one of the most orange-toned makeup lines I've seen in a decade. So guess what? We're not testing that. I'm not willing anymore to look like an Oompa Loompa. We've gone past that. Makeup has come a very long way, and if the entire line looks so warm-toned, no. Just no. Kaya, this is a brand I've never even heard of, so you're going to have to fill me in on Kaya as a brand. Like, where can you get this? Where do you live? I have no clue. I've never heard of that brand. I've never seen it on any websites that I have found that ship to my location. And again, like there were a couple of other things that people say, yeah, this is really popular in like the Balkans. I'm like, that's not going to fly. Not anytime soon. So especially with these like very sort of European, like either like region or country focused brands, unless I can see them in store, I just know from what I have tried in the past, it's really difficult to buy those things online. And if they're already available, they very often, those websites don't have the full range and they only have limited shades and it's a whole thing. Plus I would pay like twice as much as what you would pay for it in your own country. So that's why I don't feel hugely like a huge incentive to be trying more of those. Like I already mentioned, drugstore brands in general, Rimmel, Maybelline, L'Oreal, Revlon, MUA, NYX. MUA only accessible to me through the UK. Notino has some of the products, but a lot of it is always out of stock, but that's the only place I've really been able to find them. Revlon, same thing, not for sale in my country. The only place I can find it online is Zalando, and also on there, like Notino, it looks like they just keep products sitting on a shelf for way too long. They just have what's in stock, and it's like the listings are really weird. But the only real place where I can find Revlon is if I go to the UK. Same with MUA. And I do travel to London once a year, right? So that's why those things I do check out. But every single time I've seen a Revlon counter, it's very often so picked over, and all the testers look gross. No. I did find out that there's a huge Revlon counter in the Boots in the Westfield Mall in Shepherd's Bush. So unless I have a chance to go there, there probably isn't that much Revlon that I can even test out, because a lot of the consoles in the Boots that I usually frequent when I'm in London, they're like this. They're this tiny. They're this like little thin sliver, and then most of the products are just not even there. So NYX, same with the other brands I already mentioned. A lot of their products come to us really, really late. We still don't have the highlighter, the Buttermelt highlighter. I was able to swatch it for the first time when I was in London in November. We just don't get the products. We have the brand, but we don't get a lot of the products. And again, with NYX, their stock is atrocious over here anyways. Then you see the NYX counter, and then half the display is empty all the time because everybody's buying it. Same with e.l.f., by the way. Everything is always gone. So even if we have the brand, we don't get the product until much later. And then it's incredibly picked over if it's like popular brands like an e.l.f. or a NYX. Rimmel, Maybelline, L'Oreal, Max Factor, those kind of brands. They are carried here in most stores, but I did find out that Rimmel is no longer sold at Kruidvat, only at Ethos, which I was like, oh, okay, that's usually a bad sign for a brand if they used to be carried by loads of stores and all of a sudden they're only in this store. That usually means they're on the way out. With Maybelline and L'Oreal, we don't get the new things. We often don't get the entire shade range. A lot of the lipsticks, the vinyl ink lipsticks, I did review at some point. But I bought, again, most of those I had to buy in the UK and online. Because we only got, 3 shades? It doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. And then they were super expensive, too. Again, I'll do a video about how expensive makeup is here in the Netherlands. Especially from Maybelline and L'Oreal. It's marked up so much. We pay twice as much for the exact same product as what you pay for it in Germany. Same product, same amount of product you get, twice as much. So I have receipts. We're gonna do a video about that because it really isn't that affordable. Someone is also curious after Dutch brands and like makeup in the Netherlands and stuff. I saw that, but again, nobody would watch that. So Hema has a more pick your own recyclable packaging sort of situation going on now. That looked interesting, but again, I have to see those products in store because online it's just very difficult to tell the shade differences, and they don't have any sort of swatches online either, so it makes it very difficult. Some people want me to focus more on clean beauty brands. They mentioned RMS and Ilia in particular. I had a look at RMS and Ilia several times in store over the years. The reason why I haven't bought more of them or anything by them is, again, super warm toned. Nothing will suit my skin tone, or it's not the fact with these clean beauty brands, because they have so few preservatives in. With Kosas, I've had this issue. I've had this issue with Tower 28 especially, where products just expire so quickly. RMS as well, that concealer that I decluttered last year just sealed over, and there was just no way. It was like concrete in the little pot. So that makes me a little bit because these products are not cheap. They're expensive. And if I pay that much money, I want to be able to keep that makeup product in my collection for years. I should not have to throw it away within a year or two period just because you chose not to put preservatives in. So that makes me a little bit more hesitant to also try these clean beauty brands, because I know that they don't last long enough for me in my makeup collection to really get to enjoy them. That's just the way it is. Some people were asking more about luxury brands. Lisa Eldridge was mentioned, Victoria Beckham was mentioned, but also Danessa Myricks, Mob Beauty, and Swede. Swede, is that I think that's an American brand. Have never seen it ever. Mob Beauty either. These are brands where I'm like, if they are US only, even if they ship internationally, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg to get it here. And I'm just over it. Danessa Myricks, I have found, is stocked on Beauty Bay. But again, like with some of the more popular brands online, it's always sold out. No shades are in stock. It's super expensive. I can only find her brand online. And Danessa Myricks is available through UK Sephora as well. But again, the console is about this big. They don't have all the shades in store. I can't swatch it. As beautiful as those products look, I also looked into like Half Magic and About Face. Again, they are for sale through Space NK even sometimes, but they don't ship them to the Netherlands. So those are all brands that I see a lot on like beauty lovers pages, and I'm like, I'd love to try them. I'd love to try Danessa Myricks, but for that price point, I first want to give things a swatch. And if it isn't a full console and they don't have all the shade ranges with 40 shades of foundation available, I will never be able to tell what my shade is going to be. And I'm just over just buying everything for the sake of buying it so I can put it in a review. I did that a couple of years ago. Most of the things ended up not being my shade. I didn't like the formula, and then I just declutter it straight away. I don't want to live that life, so that's why, unless I can find those things in store, touch it, feel it, and then make a decision whether I want to spend my money on it, it's not going to happen anytime soon. Lisa Eldridge and Victoria Beckham, they have become a little bit easier to find. They now have makeup counters in, for instance, Selfridges. Both brands have a makeup counter. Lisa Eldridge is also in Liberty's. Victoria Beckham, I think, has some counters in other places too, I believe. But Victoria Beckham they were kind enough to send me quite a bit in PR. That's why I have so much Victoria Beckham beauty products, and because that gave me a really good grasp of what the brand does, I do feel comfortable like finding them online. But both of those brands haven't released anything new within like the past year that I really wanted to test out. So that's why. And with Victoria Beckham Beauty, I always wait for her Black Friday sale because unless I get 20 to 25% off, I do not find it worth it. So Indie Makeup Beauty, I saw quite a few people saying Titanium Foxes. This is a French beauty brand that I've seen quite a bit of buzz about. I would love to try them, but they currently don't do a color story that appeals to me. So again, as beautiful as they look, I'm not just gonna buy a palette just for the sake of buying the palette and then being able to try it if it's not a color story that I can see making it long-term in my makeup collection. I know exactly what I like. They have done a couple of palettes in the past, but those are no longer available because I've seen them on people's channels where I'm like, oh, that looks beautiful. And then I go into the website and then it's no longer there. So what I do with Titanium Foxes, and I've been doing this since like the spring of 2025, every 2 to 3 months, I check out the website to see what's there. And then I have a look at what might be, if there's anything that I might like that sparks my interest. And so far, they haven't released anything that makes me go like, ooh, I would like to spend some money on that. And then this is a brand that I'm seeing quite a bit over on TikTok. I don't think they've made their way to YouTube yet, but it's another, I believe they're French as well. It's called Mika Beauty, which of course with my name being Maika and my nickname actually being Mika in high school, I think it would be a fun brand to try. They do a lot of singles and they have a lot of eyeshadow. They do give off sort of cheap indie brand though, but the products aren't cheap. So I don't really like it. It's mainly the way the website is made that makes me feel like they look a little cheap. Like they could work on the presentation of their products, I feel. But I see a lot of their like duochromes and multichromes being promoted on TikTok a lot. However, the shades that I then look at and I see, again, not in stock, not available, and that's just a bit of a shame. So Mika Beauty, at some point, like if I feel like I would want to buy some more singles, I would like to try them perhaps, but I'm not entirely sure yet. And a lot of you are also saying C Beauty and K Beauty is something you would be interested in seeing more of. So C Beauty, definitely K Beauty as well. I'm still affiliated with YESSTYLE. I have a code with them, so I actually make a bit of commission. So it makes sense for me to every couple of months or so spend my commission and buy some products that way and do some things. But I made it to another tier on YESSTYLE's influencer program apparently in December, and they're sending me a box, and then I was given a voucher for like 100 euros that I could just spend freely on the website. So there was a lot of YESSTYLE and C Beauty stuff making its way to me. So yeah, but that's mainly PR actually, in case you were wondering. I do spend money on it myself as well. It's not all PR, because especially sometimes the boxes that YESSTYLE send you, you don't have any control what's in it, and they very often do put loads of warm tones in, and then you like come across and you're like, they have a really beautiful cool tone in that line as well, and then you don't get to try it. And my final question on my questionnaire, my little survey, was, what brands should I not review? And people said mainly K-beauty and luxury makeup. The luxury makeup, a lot of people said, because it's too expensive, I mainly just buy drugstore things. I will forever keep a balance between all those categories. I'm gonna have very affordable, cheaper brands here on the channel. I'm gonna have more mid-priced things on here. I'm gonna have some luxury, but the aim of this channel has never been luxury makeup. But again, I'm gonna do some videos in the future where I chat to you about why I love K-beauty so much and why I think sometimes more luxury brands can be worth it, and why you're actually selling yourself short if you're not willing to spend more money on your makeup, or if you're not willing to try something from K-beauty. Especially if you have fair skin, you've got a cool undertone, K-beauty is a lifesaver. It's just as expensive as Rimmel or Maybelline or those kind of brands are, but they do cool tones. So especially if you're struggling finding your shade in Western beauty brands, try K-beauty. It's been my lifesaver. And luxury makeup, very often they as well, especially in foundation ranges, have much better shade ranges than drugstore brands have. So I feel that if you truly want like the best out of your makeup, that sometimes luxury is better, but not all the time. So there's that. Yeah, so those are the outcomes of the little survey. I've also mentioned some of the changes that I want to make, some new ideas that I have. So I think 2026 is going to be a super exciting year. So I hope you really enjoyed watching this video. I think 2026 is going to be a wonderful year for content. I definitely got a little bit of a kick, and loads of like my brain wouldn't stop turning once I start looking at the results of the survey. I'm like, oh, I could do this, I could do that, I could that. Like I had this complete new spark of creativity because of it, so that was really helpful. So yeah, if you want to see what's next, what's coming, then of course a couple of things are going to stay the same. Other things are going to be changing for sure, so stay tuned for some of those new video ideas that I have for you, and then we're going to chat about loads of makeup here on the channel again in 2026. Thanks so much for everyone who entered. The giveaway winner has already been contacted, and I'm going to be sending out the package really soon. So thanks so much for entering. Check back more, of course, for all of those new video ideas that I have planned out. 4 videos a week on this channel. I post once a week on my other channel, so if you want more personal content, such as vlogs or like a little bit more of an insight into like what fashion choices I make and stuff, then check the other channel. Link is in the description box, and you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram if you'd like as well. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.